Hello everyone. Hope you are fine. Let us begin a new chapter. We will start chapter number 14, Sources of Energy. What are sources? Sources are the things from which something can be obtained. Right? Here we are going to learn about sources of energy. That means we will learn about the things from which we can obtain energy. In previous classes, you have already learned different forms of energy. We all know certain forms of energy like electrical energy, wind energy, solar energy, light energy, etc. Now, in this chapter, we will learn it in detail. Recall that in Standard 9 we have learned that the total energy during a physical or chemical process is conserved. We have learned the law of conservation of energy, which says that energy can neither be created nor destroyed. Only it can be transferred from one form to another. There we learned about kinetic energy and potential energy. So let us take an example for that. If we drop a plate from a height, what will happen? The potential energy of the plate is converted mostly to sound energy when it reaches to the ground. Another example. If we light a candle, the process is highly exothermic so that the chemical energy in the wax is converted into heat energy and the light energy on burning. So, in this way, energy can be transferred from one form to another, but it can neither be created nor destroyed. Now, what we will learn in this chapter? The topics to be covered in this lesson are what is a good source of energy, conventional sources of energy, non conventional sources of energy, energy from the sea, environmental consequences, how long will an energy source last? This many topics we'll learn in this chapter. So now let us start the topic what is a good source of energy? Till now we know that sources are the things from which something can be obtained. So here we'll learn what are the good sources of energy. How can we come to know which will be the good sources and which will be not? Let us see it. What can be considered a good source of energy? We, in our daily lives, use energy from various sources for doing work. We use diesel to run our trains. We use electricity to light our street lamps. Or we use energy in our muscles to cycle to school. The muscular energy for carrying out physical work, electrical energy for running various appliances, chemical energy for cooking food or running a vehicle all come from some source. Therefore, we need to know how do we select the source needed for obtaining the energy in its usable form. We can see that the particular source of energy or fuel we select for performing some work depends on many different factors. For example, while selecting a fuel, we would ask ourselves the following questions. We'll think, how much heat does it release on burning? Does it produce a lot of smoke? Is it easily available? So, while selecting fuel, we'll think this kind of questions. Then, we will think of a better option or a fuel which produces large amount of heat while burning a small quantity of it, right? Then we will think of a better option when it burns completely without producing smoke. Then we will think for a fuel which is easily available and economical. That means which is cheap. So we will think this kind of good results for fuel when we select it. Now let us see when can we say that this is a good source of energy. So there are some characteristics of a good source of energy which we need to remember. So the first one is which would do a large amount of work per unit volume or mass. Obviously, we will think of a source of energy which produces large amount of energy while burning a small quantity. So that can be considered as a good source of energy which would do a large amount of work per unit volume or mass. Second characteristic is which would be easily accessible. Accessible means which is easily available. So this is the second one. Then next is which can be easily stored and which can be easily transported. And the last, which is very important, that it should be economical, which means it is cheap. It is easily affordable. So these are the characteristics which you need to remember. So if anyone asks you what is a good source of energy, you will say that a good source of energy is the one which do a large amount of work per unit volume or mass, which is easily accessible, which can be easily stored, and can be transported easily. And most importantly, which is economical. So these are the characteristics of a good source of energy. Now we will learn about conventional sources of energy. What is the meaning of conventional sources? The word itself suggests that the sources which people are using since a long time. So, the sources of energy which are being used by people since a long time are called conventional sources of energy. In the sessions later on, we'll learn about non-conventional sources of energy, where we learn the sources of energy which are updated with the technology. So now we will learn the sources of energy which we are using since a long time ago. You can say the picture which is displayed on the screen, which is used by the ancient people. And nowadays we use this type of things which are updated by the latest technology. So, which are the conventional sources of energy? They are wood, coal, petroleum, and natural gas. These all are considered as conventional sources of energy. In detail, we will learn in our next session. Thank you.